Moving on to the final hadith in today's program, hadith number 216, I believe.
Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet of Allah ﷺ said, "It is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the last day to travel for one day and night except with a mahram."
And in another narration for Bukhari, she must not travel the distance of a day except with a mahram. And a mahram is someone who a woman cannot marry for eternity. Now, the hadith is in response to an occasion, to an incident. The Prophet once was addressing his companions, and he was not talking about Hajj. He was talking about traveling. So he said, it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram. So a man stood from among the crowd and said, "O Prophet of Allah, I was instructed to go in an expedition for the sake of Allah. We are going for war. My name was drawn, but my wife has gone for Hajj. And we didn't know that it is not permissible for a woman that believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram." The Prophet said, ﷺ, "Go and catch your wife," meaning go and accompany your wife for Hajj. From this hadith, the majority of scholars said that it is not permissible for a woman to travel without a mahram, period. And they differed regarding Hajj. Imam al-Shafi'i said that it is permissible for a woman with a group of trustworthy women to travel with them for Hajj. Other than that, no, it's not permissible. And there is a lot of dispute among scholars, but a Muslim looks at this hadith, looks at the instruction of the Prophet ﷺ, and he has no other choice but to comply. Now the Prophet ﷺ said this hadith when the man stood up and said, "My wife went for Hajj." Question number one, did the Prophet ask him, is she alone or with a group of women who are trustworthy? Did he? No, he did not. Did the Prophet ask him, is she beautiful or ugly? Did the Prophet ask him, is she young or old, that people would not look at her? The Prophet did not ask him any of these questions, which means that a woman cannot travel without a mahram, whether she's old or young, whether she's beautiful or ugly, whether she's alone or with the company of trustworthy women or trustworthy men. She has to have a mahram. This is the fatwa of the Prophet ﷺ. So when someone comes to me and says, "Yes, but Sheikh so-and-so said so-and-so," what can I do for you? I'm telling you the Prophet said, and you're telling me that Sheikh said. Who do you believe in? Allahumma salli wa sallim alayhi. We believe only in the Prophet ﷺ. That is why Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "You people, Allah Azza wa Jal is about to send rocks from the sky on your heads." Why? Why is this punishment? Ibn Abbas says, I tell you, the Prophet says so and so, and you tell me, but Abu Bakr and Umar say so and so, and they're quoting Abu Bakr and Umar. Nowadays we say the Prophet says so and so, a man comes up and say, "Yeah, but I saw a sheikh on a TV channel say it's okay." Do you know the sheikh? No. Do you know his name? Yeah, I think his name is Muhammad, maybe Abdullah. Okay, do you know anything about him? No, but it's enough for me that he appeared on television. Subhanallah, any sheikh appearing on television is a scholar. Now I am a scholar because I appear on television. This is ridiculous. You have to know who a true scholar is. Not anyone who comes on television is a scholar. It's a person who is knowledgeable of the Quran, of the Sunnah, of the fundamentals of fiqh, of the four schools of thought, of the Arabic language, is able to differentiate between verbs and adjectives and nouns and proverbs and pronouns. But the person who does not know any of this Yet he heard this alim and made, mashallah, a Caesar salad. And now he's giving it to everybody. This is not proper knowledge. This is not proper ilm. So you have to know, you have to identify, and it is mandatory upon you to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what Allah will ask you on the Day of Judgment. He will not ask you about Sheikh so-and-so, or Doctor so-and-so, or Scholar so-and-so. He will ask you, what did you answer my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he came to you and he told you, a woman who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment, it's not permissible for her to travel without a mahram. And what is the definition of a mahram? Is a person she cannot marry at all. So if her brother-in-law, who's married to her sister, he's her mahram? She said, no. Can she marry him? At the moment, no. Once her sister is divorced or dead, he can marry her. Then this is not a mahram. So her father, her son, her brother, her uncle, her nephew, her father-in-law, her son-in-law, these are all considered to be her mahram. And of course her stepfather, her stepson are also considered to be her mahram, and so on. So from this hadith we learn that women are not allowed to travel anywhere without having a proper protection by having a mahram with her. Can she travel with a brother who is 10 years old? Is he a proper mahram? A mahram must reach the age of puberty. So if one travels with a woman, says, I'm traveling with my son, he's my mahram, he's 2.5 years old. What kind of mahram is this? He cannot even take care of himself. He cannot even change his own diapers. No, this is not permissible. Do we have any questions?
Regarding this, the woman cannot travel to anywhere, so what's the distance that she can travel, or she can't travel anywhere without a mahram?
The issue is traveling. So if she's going from Mumbai to Madras, or what you call Chennai, this is considered to be traveling, so she has to have a mahram. But if she's inside the city, if she's in Mumbai, going from one district to the other, or going from the south to the east, or anywhere in Mumbai, this is not traveling. So it's permissible for her to go on her own. But providing that she is not alone with a man in a cab or in a rickshaw, for example. She has to have someone to break the khulwa, the seclusion. So if there are two women and a man in a cab, it's okay. But one woman and one man, this is not permissible.
Sheikh, if a group of women are traveling and only one of them has a mahram with her, will that mahram suffice to be a guardian for all the women?
Again, the ruling is regarding the other women. The woman who has her mahram is okay. Now, her friend, who is her mahram? You tell me. Who is her mahram?
None among them.
Now, you said that a group of women have one mahram of one of the women. So this woman has a mahram. Now, let's choose another woman from that group. Who is her mahram?
No one.
So you answered yourself. The Prophet said, it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah on the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram. Because she is with a woman with a mahram does not make her having a mahram, and therefore it's not permissible.
Sheikh, my question is regarding the earlier topic of miqat. Like those who come from outside Saudi Arabia to do only umrah in non-Hajj days. So once they complete the major umrah, then they say that there is something called a small umrah where they go to Masjid Aisha or Nimra, I don't know, and then they perform the small umrah. Is it permissible?
First of all, there is no small or big umrah. Umrah is one. But the issue is, if a person comes and offers umrah from the miqat, and then he is free, he's make tahallul, can he make another umrah? There is a difference of opinion. The most authentic is, it is possible for him to make umrah, but it is not recommended. Where does he make ihram from? Because he came with a proper ihram from the miqat, now he takes the same ruling of the place he's in. So if he's in Jeddah, he makes his ihram from Jeddah. If he's in Mecca, the people of Mecca do not make ihram for umrah from Mecca. They have to go out of the sanctuary area. They have to go out of the haram area. So What is the haram area? For them, the closest is At-Tan'im, which is outside of the haram borders. And At-Tan'im, they have a masjid there called Masjid Aisha. Why they call it Masjid Aisha? Because when Aisha finished her Hajj and she was in the state of menses and she was pure, she did not like not making a separate Umrah. So she requested the Prophet told her, you don't have to. She said, I want to. So he instructed her brother Abdurrahman to take her to At-Tan'im, make ihram, and then come back. Why? Because Umrah in Arabic means to visit. And if you are in Mecca, you want to visit the Kaaba, you are in the Kaaba, how can you visit your own house? You cannot visit your own house. What to do? I have to go out of my house and then come and visit. This is why they call it Masjid Aisha. I'm afraid